Have you ever heard of the term Iron Lady? Most Malaysians, when you do tell them that particular term, they tend to think up of, well, a lady who is powerful, popular, or influential, but not from here, from abroad. But little do those Malaysians know that we have our very own Malaysian version of an Iron Lady. And the book that I'm going to review today is about that marvelous lady. But hey, before that, where are my manners? My name is Dhayanan Hemraaj. I'm from SMK Sultan Badlisha and my school's code is KEB 5027. The book that I'm going to review today is entitled Rapid Fire Rafida, Being Malaysian First. It's a memoir of the Malaysian version of an Iron Lady. You can probably pre-assume who that Malaysian version of an Iron Lady is from the title of the book. It is indeed Tan Sri Rafida Aziz. And this book is a memoir of her life, meaning that she herself authored it, Tan Sri Rafida Aziz. This book was published by MPH Publishing. You may have already heard of the term MPH before because they own a chain of popular bookstores all throughout the country. Note, popular the adjective, not popular the brand. That's another thing. And, as obviously, they also publish books like this, mainly non-fictional books. This book in particular has a total of 296 pages. However, the last 20 pages are not words. They are what Tan Sri herself calls snapshots of her life. Snapshots of, her meeting with famous people. She was a successful woman, of course. And this book has a total of 16 chapters. Chapter 12 being my favorite. I'll get back to it later. This book was written in a conversational tone. I mean, it doesn't even feel as if you're reading a book. It feels as if you're having tea with Tan Sri Rafida on a peaceful Saturday evening and she's, narrating the content of this book to you herself. It's like you're talking with her. The book starts off with her early life. Tan Sri Rafida was the daughter of a government servant, meaning that she had to move around a lot. They lived in Perak initially and then they moved to Kelantan and then they settled down for a brief period of time in Kuala Lumpur. In Kuala Lumpur, she finished her first 2 years of secondary schooling, and prior to that, of course, she already finished her primary schooling. And after that, they had to move to Johor Bahru. In Johor Bahru, she finished her remaining 3 years of secondary schooling, and she had to sit for an examination that was going to determine what stream she was going to be put in when she entered Form 6. Now, Tan Sri Rafida was someone who always excelled in her sciences, meaning chemistry, biology, and physics, and of course, math and math. But in this exam, she fumbled her chemistry test. She forgot to tie her paper in proper sequence, her answer sheets, because back then they didn't have staplers. They had to tie their papers. And as a result, she got very low marks for her chemistry test, and she got put into the economics stream. Heart-wrenching, right? But nonetheless, she persisted. She continued to excel in her economics stream to an extent where she was offered a scholarship to study rural economics in the University of Malaya, which back then and till today is one of the best universities in our country to study finance and economics related courses. After she finished her higher education, she went on to work there as a tutor, as an assistant professor. Some of her students include the current Prime Minister, Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, and former Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. Now, after that, she got approached by the then Prime Minister Tun Razak to become a member of RISTA, Rubber Industries Smallholders Authority. Imagine being a 20-plus-year-old being approached by the then Prime Minister for a job. Overwhelming, right? After that, her career simply skyrocketed. Her political career, I mean. She was Member of Parliament in 2 different constituencies for 3 decades, and out of those 3 decades, she was Minister for 2 entire decades for the same portfolio, Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry. So you can probably assume how good she was in her rural economics. Now, I mentioned earlier that chapter 12 was my favorite chapter. Why so? It was entitled, I Am Me! In this book, she enlightened us as to how she was beneath, her identity as a leader, a stern, a performing leader. She was still a normal human being like us, a normal human being with weaknesses, with vulnerabilities. She talked about her life as a widow, her life without her children, her life after she retired, her life going through various betrayals, various conflicts with her loved ones, her friends, her companions, her colleagues, her comrades. And she truly showed signs of vulnerability, which is uncommon amongst people like her. Now, what can I take away from this book? That everybody can be great. If you look at it, Tan Sri Rafida, her life did not go the way that she wanted it to go. Even from the start, she wanted STEM, but she got economics. But look where that led her to become a minister, a country's leader. This means that we should all persist throughout our life's challenges and see where it takes us. That was about it for my take on this marvelous book. Rapid Fire Rafida being Malaysian first. Thank you. Ciao.